Hey there, finance fans! Welcome to Legend Finance, your launchpad for wealth-building wisdom. Today, we're turbocharging your financial journey, revealing strategies that protect and grow your hard-earned cash. Strap in as we decode finance's secret playbook, debunk myths, and empower you to ace the money game. Together, we'll transform you into a finance legend, one savvy decision at a time. The journey to financial greatness starts now with Legend Finance. Step 1. First things first, clear those debts. Best case scenario? These basics eat up less than half of your monthly income, leaving you free to spread your funds elsewhere. And with the first two steps nailed, we've got our financial foundations laid. Sounds like we're on track, doesn't it? Step 2. All right, payday's here. Where should our dough go first? The essentials. Rent, food, transport, and basic utilities are not fancy, but we can't live without them. Tap water instead of sparkling? Sure, it does the job. And presents? Nice to have, but not lifesavers unless you're Santa. The goal here is to put money away for the must-haves. It's different for everyone based on living costs. Best case scenario? These basics eat up less than half of your monthly income, leaving you free to spread your funds elsewhere. And with the first two steps nailed, we've got our financial foundations laid. Sounds like we're on track, doesn't it? Step 3. Step 3 is setting up an emergency fund. Remember, we're aiming to tuck away 3 to 6 months worth of expenses for those rainy days. Say your monthly spend is $2,000, your target should be about $6,000 all liquid. And where is the best place to stash this cash? A high-interest savings account where your money is within reach, and it earns a little on the side. Check out options like Sophie that offer up to 4% APY. Just Google high-yield savings accounts for more choices and ensure they've got FDIC insurance, which most do. Step 4. So what percentage of our paycheck should we be setting aside and funneling into our retirement fund? About 65% of you tuning in are from the United States, where we have employer-sponsored 401k plans. But what if you're in the UK? They've got something called a workplace pension. In Australia, they use superannuation, and in Canada, it's RRSPs. Regardless of where we are, we want to make sure we're saving a percentage of every paycheck into our retirement fund. Many financial experts suggest aiming for between 6 and 12%. And here's a tip. It's even better if we can have this amount deducted from our paycheck before we see it. Not only is it often tax deductible, but it also keeps us from being tempted to spend it. Another plus of the 401k, at least in the States, is that many times an employer will match our contributions up to a certain limit. For simplicity's sake, let's say we earn $100,000 a year. Our employer might match up to 3% of our salary, meaning we could get an additional $3,000 of free money for our retirement account. If this is an option, we definitely want to take it. It's essentially the best return on our investment we could hope for. Of course, if we want to save more than the match percentage in our 401k, that's a personal decision. But it brings me to my next point. We often have to consider opportunity cost trade-offs. Opportunity cost trade-off. So here's a dilemma we often come across: the balancing act between having liquid cash and contributing to our 401k. Because of the way 401ks are designed, pulling out money early results in a penalty. This leaves us wondering, what if we need that money we've started putting into retirement? It's not easily accessible, and none of us want to deal with penalties. So we're left wrestling with this opportunity cost question. Though it may not be universally accepted, the fact remains that a 401k in the US essentially acts as a forced savings account. This is probably the most sensible approach for the majority of people, given that many struggle with saving. The statistics corroborate this. Most Americans only manage to save around 4 to 5% of their gross income, while in some countries, individuals are saving as much as 50%. Considering that 64% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, forced savings seems like a suitable strategy. However, it's essential to challenge the notion that everyone should just invest in a 401k because that's what people do. Personal finance is precisely that, personal. It should be tailored to individuals' unique needs and priorities. This brings us to the advice that they should think independently when making financial decisions. If they believe they can earn more with the cash they currently have instead of maxing out their 401k contributions, then perhaps that's the route they should take. But for the majority, the 401k is likely the safest way to build wealth. To put things in perspective, consider this. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics states that the median income is about $55,000 a year. If individuals put away 10% of that pre-tax income for retirement, they'd save approximately $5,500 each year. If they contribute that to their 401k and let it grow for 35 years at the average S&P return of 8% a year, they could accumulate over $1 million by the time they retire. Therefore, if they're considering bypassing the 401k, they'd need to make at least $1.023 million in 35 years to make it worthwhile. If they're not at least 95% certain they can do that, they're probably better off sticking with the 401k. Now, on to the next step. Step 5. Our fifth recommendation would involve us settling any outstanding high-interest debt. We consider anything above a 15% interest rate as high-interest debt. Often, we find ourselves answering the question, can we still invest while having some debt? Our answer is that if it's a low-interest debt, then we see no problem with that. So for instance, if we have student loans or perhaps a 30-year mortgage with less than a 5% interest rate, then we believe there's no issue with investing while we're paying off the debt. However, when it comes to high-interest debt, they're probably better off clearing that immediately since the chances of getting that same return in the market are unlikely. When it comes to debt clearance, we have a few different methods to expedite the process. The first method, popularly known as the avalanche method, prioritizes settling the highest interest debt first. Let's say, for instance, that we have 3 sources of debt: car payments, credit card payments, and student loans. If we owed $5,000 on each and the interest rates were 7% on the car, 20% on the credit card, and 5% on the student loans, the smart order to settle the debt would be to start with the credit card since it carries the highest interest rate of 20%. Next would be the car at 7%, and lastly, the student loans. This method proves to be the most financially efficient way of paying off debt because we're eliminating the debt source that's costing us the most. There's another strategy, though, known as the snowball method. According to 2 professors at Kellogg Business School, they'd affirm that paying off a small balance, a quick win, if you will, can boost self-esteem and actually aid in clearing more debt in the long run. So if we have a list of debts, we could employ this method. First, we'd want to sort our debt by balance size, from smallest to largest. After that, we'd aim to clear the smallest one first while maintaining minimum payments on all other outstanding debts. That way, it's going to feel like we're gaining momentum each time we settle a single debt source. As the number of total debt sources shrinks, we'll feel like we're making progress. We should avoid starting with the student loan balance since the slow progress might demoralize us early on. This way, we'll be able to feel like we're making significant progress. Step 6. After we've settled our high-interest debt and still have some leftover money, we'll proceed to step number 6, opening and investing in a Roth IRA or an individual retirement account. The primary benefit of owning a Roth IRA is that our earnings and profits grow tax-free. This implies that when we retire, any earnings we generate from this specific individual retirement account will not be taxed. Another advantage of the Roth IRA is its flexibility. We can withdraw our contributions at any time. Therefore, even though we're depositing money into a retirement account, if we wish to withdraw the principal that we put in, we can do so at any time. Given that our profits in a Roth IRA grow tax-free, we plan on employing some intriguing investing strategies. For those under the age of 50, they can only contribute a maximum of $6,500 per year to this account, whereas those over the age of 50 can contribute up to $7,500 as a catch-up mechanism. Another important aspect of the Roth IRA is that it requires contributions in after-tax dollars. This means the money has already been taxed, so when they fund the Roth IRA, they're essentially being taxed upfront rather than upon withdrawal, as is the case with a traditional IRA. Step 7. Step 7 is about taxable investing. This involves putting your money in assets such as real estate, the stock market, bonds, commodities, or potentially riskier ventures like cryptocurrency or angel investing. The important thing is to invest in what you understand, not just follow others' advice. Measure your returns to learn from your successes and mistakes. Many people don't reach this step due to poor money management. Treat your personal finances like a business, with every dollar accounted for and working for you. If you're struggling to reach this step, consider a side job or improving your skills to earn more. Thank you for being with us on this journey. Remember, life is full of possibilities for those who dare to embrace them. Carry on with courage, embrace your uniqueness, and never stop creating your own legendary stories. And if you haven't already done so, hit that like button like a boss and subscribe for more epic money wisdom. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a golden investment opportunity. Share this video with your friends and family to help them take the first step towards financial freedom. Catch you next time, and stay legendary.